Ari on Atlantic Television Network, and of course, we'll bring you the latest revolving around the beautiful world of sports. And of course, we told you we bring you the latest coming from football. And we'll start from the home scene as Temple Mekai has been named the new captain of Rivers United ahead of the 2024 and 25 Nigerian Premier Football League campaign. With the Pride of Rivers scheduled to face Katsina United in the March Day 6 fixture at the Mohammed Udiko Stadium, technical manager Finidi George confirmed that the Pendebu centre-back would take the armband, having led the team since Ima Wagwa departure and captained the side during the opening 5 matches this season. Now, signed in January 2019, Mekai impact at Rivers United has been immense, and he instantly cemented himself as a first-team player and played an influential role in the team exploits in the MPFL and CAF Interclub competition, including winning the 2021-2022 Nigerian Premier Football League back-to-back CAF Confederation Cup quarter-final appearance. Michael, new captain for Rivers United, appointed by the coach, Finidi George.
I hope he has the leadership quality to, pilot the affairs of Rivers United on the pitch of play, because you need a player with good character. You need a player that is cool, level-headed, a player that that is not emotionally driven, to lead the pack on the pitch of play rather, because the actions and inactions of a player in the pitch of play could make or mar a game for a team out there. Because if you have a leader as a captain rather on the pitch of play that is not matured enough, that is not showing that quality of a leader, showing that composure and good attitude, you might be making a wrong choice, because it will determine how your team organize themselves in the pitch of play. Because don't forget, the coach may be a coach, but then the coach at that point in time may not be on the pitch of play. It takes a player that has a good quality, not quality in terms of play, but a player that has all the attributes as a leader on the pitch of play to be able to bring calmness on the pitch of play, to talk to ref. There's a way you talk to ref as a player, as even a captain. That referee will not regard you. But there is a way you comport yourself on the pitch of play. Even when you want to go and talk to ref, the ref will give you a listening ear. So I believe that Finidi George, having played on a very high stage for Ajax and different clubs in Europe for the Super Eagles, he knows the quality that is demanded of a player before you can be appointed as a captain of a team. So let's believe that Finidi George knows what he's doing, and that is why he has handed the captain armband to this player.
Michael, talking about Finidi George knowing what he's doing at this time at Rivers United, we saw him at Eyimba Football Club. He was able to win the league for Eyimba, and then this NFF saw him to be good enough to be the coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But came in, one or two things happened, couldn't turn out a very good results in the games he handled, and he had to leave the Super Eagles in a premature manner. They have enough time, and now he's at Rivers United, turning out the results as expected, from him as they stand. What do you make of Finidi George? A lot of persons have actually said, especially during his time at the Super Eagles, that he's not a good coach, doesn't understand tactics. But this is Rivers United being undefeated in about 5 games this season, Michael. What do you make of Finidi George, prowess as a manager?
For me, I think I would have decided to reserve my comments on Finidi George. Form so far.
Is he a master of the MPFL than the national team, or?
I do not want to agree, because in his first job at Eyimba, I wasn't too convinced. I said it to so many people out there that he won the league by fluke, because it was an abridged format and a lot of power play went into that abridged league before Enyimba were crowned champion. So I think I never endorsed Finidi George because I wasn't too convinced about his tactical prowess under Enyimba. But then, because of the fact that NFF, for whatever reason, they were very, very economical enough, and that is why they had to attach him under Joseph Pissarro. And the reason why he was, given the nod to become the Super Eagles head coach after Joseph Pissarro left is very simple, because he has worked under Joseph Pissarro, and the NFF believe that having worked under Joseph Pissarro for some of the months, that he knows what it takes to tinker the team around. And that is why they had to give him the job. And NFF on their part, they have been very, very economical. They don't want to cover the money and spend. So they think that, okay, this one may be a cheap article. Instead of we coughing out, huge amount of money in our purse to go get a quality coach to take up the place of Joseph Pissarro, why not make do of his assistant, which happens to be Finidi George? Because as at then, is Finidi George more qualified than Daniel Omokachi? Was he more qualified than Emmanuel Amunike? Is he even more qualified than the Akwa Ibom based in US? I've forgotten his name. That was one of the candidate that was shortlisted then. Of course, no. You and I knew it that Finidi George couldn't stand on the touchline for Enyimba in the CAF organized competition. Why? Because he doesn't have the requisite training license, coaching license to stand there. So all of a sudden, because he's an assistant to Joseph Pissarro, and as Joseph Pissarro left, NFF don't want to dish out, cough out money. They saw it as a makeshift, and that is why they handed him the position. Because if you had to sample opinion, then you and I were very, very aware. During the time where those three names were shortlisted, we listened to public opinions. Are there some callers going through social media? The odd actually favored Emmanuel Amunike, but all of a sudden it was given to Finidi George for whatever reason that the NFF had. So I am one of those people. Of course, that I've been very, very critical about Finidi George taking up that position. He went out there and fumbled. And look at the way he embarrassed himself. And he couldn't even sustain the pressure and the shame of bad result that he was able to churn out. That is why he was not fired, but he humbly and gently resigned by himself because of the pressure of the bad result that he was getting. Now, before you could say Jack, Rivers United went and bring him in, because according to so many, he's our own. Let's cherish our own. Now, 5 games. Is it good enough for me to use that as a yardstick to evaluate the quality, the tactical prowess of Finidi George? No, for me.
If you take a look at these 5 teams, they've actually beaten the best. Enyimba, Akwa United. These are teams. They were able to get a draw away from home against Bender Insurance. And
you are going to wait until they get to play a team like Remo Stars or Rangers International before you can start to give him a little bit of pass mark. Akwa United presently is a shadow. They are a shadow of themselves. It's not that Akwa United. You and I know the Akwa United that won the league sometime 2019. It is not that Akwa United, because some of their key players have left. Monday Ebong, so many names. I've forgotten some of their key names then, Then you talk about beating Enyimba. Enyimba under a new coach that is still learning on the job, Olarewaju, who was the prodigy. In fact, he's a prodigy to Finidi George. Come on, you should expect Rivers United to beat Enyimba, because the coach that is there is inexperienced. So you can't say that it is an uhuru for now for Finidi George just because he has remained unbeaten in just 5 games. Let us just wait until the mid-season or at the tail end of the season before we can say, that Finidi George seems to have maybe the coaching ingredients to lead a big team in Nigeria here, not to talk about going to take the Super Eagles job. So for me, in all, I want to say that 5 games for me, for Finidi George, is not enough to assess his quality to assess his tactical prowess, to assess his credibility as a good coach for Rivers United as it is right now.
All right, let's see how it goes for Finidi George and Rivers United, but we have to stay away from that as former Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa was an instant hit on his third return to Kano Pillars, netting twice and earning a penalty which he would fluff in, in the former champions 2 goals in the defeat of Sunshine Stars. Musa and defender Shewad Lahi are among some elite former national team players who have made a return to the Nigerian Premier Football League after stints abroad. Cordin Obaje is also on the Rangers list squad list following his return to the MPFL. Musa debut for this Musa Kida was particularly thrilling following the club's unimpressive start to the season at their adopted home where they were beaten. And the man has promised, of course, to score more goals for Kano Pillars this time around. Michael, I don't know what you make of it. Kano Pillars, they didn't have a very good start, but Musa appearance in his third missionary journey, of course, in the team, he started with a bang. What do you make of it going forward for Ahmed Musa with Kano Pillars?
For me, I wouldn't even want to dwell so much on this Ahmed Musa story because we've dwell on it for such a long time. But I think it is a good way for him to start. He missed a penalty though, but then had to score 2 goals. It's an instant hit, and of course, it's a league that he's very familiar with. Before leaving the shores of Nigeria, he was actually the top scorer, during that season before he left for abroad for greener pastures. He came back the second time, so this is the third time. He's not a newcomer into the league. He knows the intrigues or intricacies of the Nigerian Premier Football League, and that is why he has hit the ground running.
All right, so away from that, Nigerian Super Eagles B team has been handed a tough opponent in the qualifier of the 2024 Championship of African Nations qualifier. The draw, which was conducted today, witnessed Nigeria facing their rival Ghana in the second round of the qualifier. It was Ghana who ended the hopes up for the Nigerian home-based Eagles from playing in the last edition of the competition. After an away draw in Kumasi, Ghana defeated Nigeria at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja via penalty shootout. For the 2024 qualifiers, Ghana will host the first leg before traveling to Nigeria for the second leg. The dates for the crucial first leg is December 20th to 22nd, with the reverse fixture taking place a week later in Nigeria. Away from that, let's move straight now to the camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, as of course we hear that all 23 Super Eagles players invited for Nigeria's crucial African Cup of Nation qualifiers against Libya have reported to camp. The final arrivals, Sevilla drew Kelechi Iheanacho and Chidera Juke Radio Super Eagles base in Uyo today, and of course we've seen top-notch level of preparation down there in Uyo. Michael, all players are now in camp now, getting ready for the game against Libya. What do you make of preparation so far?
It's been top-notch. I think the boys are gearing to go. Having seen many of them arriving camp, almost all the players are already in camp as we speak right now, under the close watch of the interim head coach. I was talking about Austin Eguavo and his assistants out there, the door of Fidelis Ilechukwu and Daniel Ogumodede. Though these are 2 enemies in the Nigerian Premier Football League, but they are friends in the Nigerian Super Eagles for the national assignment. I think if there's anything to go by from what we've seen from the clips of their training since the last 3 days right now, I believe the players are ready to go. I also listened to the coach of the side talking about Austin Eguavon a few hours ago when he actually stated it very clear that the boys understand the task ahead and they are ready to deliver on the mandate, which is handling giving Nigeria Super Eagles all 3 points. And then again, you talk about the Mediterranean night of Libya. Their coach as well truly understand that they have maybe a disadvantage in this very one, because I listened to the coach while he was talking yesterday. He said that their aim is to come and see if they can get a point here. He also acknowledged that it's going to be a very Herculean task for them to get all 3 points against a 3-time champion, talking about the Super Eagles. But then, sometimes what coaches or players say on the media is sometimes not the same thing you get to see in the pitch of play. A coach will come and tell you that his team has no chance, beating such team and all of that. These are just, part and parcel of the game. Sometimes it is mind game. So we shouldn't take it too serious that their aim is to just come and get a point here. Because if we give them the chance to get all 3 points, who say that they cannot get all 3 points? But then the truth remains that I think that Super Eagles are well primed to get all 3 points against the Libyans come Friday by 5 p.m. at Uyo.
We'll talk much about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, as of course, action continues to unfold down there in Uyo. But just like we mentioned, all 23 players invited are now in camp, getting ready for that game against Libya. Let's take a trip now to Europe, as senior officials from Manchester United failed to reach a final decision on Erik ten Hag's future. During a meeting yesterday, co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe led the discussion at the Enos headquarters. Also in attendance were new Chief Executive Omar Barada, Dan Ashwood, who recently joined as Sporting Director, and Technical Director Jansen Rickos. So at the end of the day, no decision, of course. They didn't arrive at any decision in terms of the future of Erik ten Hag. So for what we're saying, and at the moment, ten Hag still remains the coach of Manchester United. Michael, what do you make of it? The owners of United find it difficult to decide on the future of ten Hag.
I think for me, the decisions are still on the pipeline, but it's just a matter of time. Maybe postponement of the day of doom for Erik ten Hag. But one thing is very certain, that if the situation doesn't change for good, the result doesn't turn in the favor of Manchester United, I assure you that Manchester United co-owners is going to get Erik ten Hag sacked, because Manchester United is a very, very big club, and it's very embarrassing to see the kind of situation and condition that Manchester United is right now, struggling to win games. Out of 7 games, they've just managed to win 2, draw 2, and they lost 3 of those games. Seated 14th on the log, with just 8 points. Their worst start in the history of the Premier League so far under Erik ten Hag, under any other manager for Manchester. In fact, last season as well, they had their worst start. 2019 as well, they had their worst start to Premier League season under Ole. Now, this is the worst of it all for Manchester United in the history of the Premier League. Playing 7 games, having just 8 points to show for it, seated 14. You can continue to rule out some of the poor record and bad record, for Manchester United under Erik ten Hag. So, you talk about their pattern of play, no identity as it is right now. Manchester United look like a ragtag team as it is right now. And I tell you, if situation or things does not change for good, like I said, it's just a postponement of the day of doom for Erik ten Hag. Like I say, as decision by the co-owners is still on the pipeline, we wait to see what happens in the next few weeks.
All right, let's see what happens in the next few weeks. But stay down there in England. Cole Palmer has been named the England Men's Player for the year for 2024, as announced by England's official X page yesterday at night. Michael, a lot of persons are not in good terms with this decision of Cole Palmer being the England Men's Player for 2024.
I think you will say that a lot of people, not a lot of people, because you take a look at the ratio of the people that are against this. I think it is not that much. It is 50-50. I think the only people that are talking about the fact that it was maybe Jude Bellingham. They are making the case just because Jude Bellingham won the Spanish La Liga and the Champions League. But then, take a look at the total goal contribution for the season. Cole Palmer juxtaposing him alongside Jude Bellingham. I think Cole Palmer still stand out best because don't forget, this is his breakout season. At Manchester City, where he wasn't irregular. And that is the reason why he left Manchester City, because for him, he has the confidence. He knows what he can do with the ball and on the ball. And that is why he had to push his way out of Manchester City, heading to the Stamford Bridge. It was an instant hit for the Stamford Bridge side. Despite the fact that Chelsea struggled throughout last season, but then he was their star man. Without the help of Cole Palmer last season for Chelsea, I tell you, Chelsea wouldn't have finished in 6th position. That is the truth. Now, take a look at the statistics so far this season. Nobody come close to Cole Palmer. Even he has more goal and more assists, more goal contribution, even above Erling Braut Haaland in the Premier League. Go check the statistics. So for me, I think Cole Palmer truly deserves this award.
All right, away from that, former Barcelona midfielder Andre Iniesta, who won 2 European Championship and the 2010 World Cup with an all-conquering Spain team, announced his retirement from football yesterday at the age of 40. Iniesta came up through Barcelona's famed La Masia Academy and made his first team debut at the age of 18, becoming a mainstay in the midfield before his departure 16 years later. After 674 appearances, he won 9 La Liga titles and the Champions League 4 times with Barcelona, also lifting 6 Copa del Rey in the haul of 32 trophies during his time at Camp Nou. Iniesta formed a devastating midfield with Xavi Hernandez and Sergio Busquets becoming the standard bearers for the tiki-taka style of football that catapulted both club and country to new heights. He played alongside the likes of Lionel Messi, Neymar Jr., Samuel Eto'o and Luis Suarez for Barcelona, who captured the treble in 2009 under Pep Guardiola, and again 6 years later with Luis Enrique in charge. His greatest moments came in 2010 World Cup final in Johannesburg, when he scored the winning goal for Spain against the Netherlands in extra time. 131 caps for Spain before calling time on his international career after the 2018 World Cup. Impressive one, you'll say, for the man Andres Iniesta. But Jurgen Klopp, former Liverpool manager, has a new job. As we hear that former Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp has a new role as head of football operation at Red Bull, which owns the Leipzig, Salzburg and New York club. The company said today. We hear the 57-year-old will start his tenure next year. That's on the 1st of January 2025. So club is back now, but this time in an administrative role. At this point, we call it a wrap on the show. But Michael, we can't go without, giving Andre Iniesta, yes, our sport extraordinaire for today's edition of the show. Of course, he's a legend, retiring at the age of 40, putting up that impressive feat during his time, especially at FC Barcelona. You see, of course, is something to really commend.
Yeah, I think, let's say he deserves it for today. I think for me, I will go for Cole Palmer as our sport extraordinary, because yesterday we actually talked about the exploit of Iniesta, and
okay.
also give him the sport extraordinary. So he
okay,
can't be winning back to back.
Okay.
Let's give it to Cole Palmer.
Okay, Cole Palmer has it. Cole Palmer has it. Of course, England Men's Player of the Year 2024. Let's give it to the man Cole Palmer. With that, we'll call it a wrap on the show. We'll be back tomorrow by 7 a.m. No Sports Talk. Do want to join us as the promise used to be another exciting time talking sports on Atlantic Television. And so don't forget, please sign yourself with the passwords to progress. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Thanks for watching.
Sahara, we bring all the sport news live and